Yep, we're on.
All right. Welcome, guys, to Royalty Workshop. Tonight, I'm just going to be talking to you guys, and feel free to just jump in with questions. But I'm just going to be talking to you about how I talk to my aim of 10 people a day around my full-time work. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a school teacher full-time. Last year I was doing netball coaching as well, so I did manage to go world team whilst having all of those commitments. So it's really not a complicated thing, like talking to 10 around full-time work. It's just a matter of priority. And it's easy when you've got a business, when you're in a business like this, and you are your own boss. It's very easy to not do the work. Like the work is simple, but it's easy to do and it's easy not to do. So it's about having a reason that's bigger than you. So it's time versus priority. So is it, replace the word time with priority. So if you say I didn't have time to talk to 10 today, replace that with priority. It wasn't my priority to talk to 10 a day. And depending on your goals, if you want to keep saying that, that's fine. But we can have results or excuses. We can't have both.
Yeah.
It's not a why can't we have both case. So have a reason that's bigger than you. So if you're on Royalty Workshop now, you should have enough understanding of our company to understand what we're all about. For me, I've got a massive opportunity to empower women with both the income opportunity and just become better versions of themselves. And then in addition to that, like, yes, as a teacher, I get a good wage and that sort of thing, but it's not going to set me up for retirement, and it's not going to set me up for when I want to have kids. And I've got to stay at home. I want to be able to spend time with my kids. That's the whole point of having them. This is thinking very far ahead, by the way. I'm not pregnant. But I would like to be able to spend time with my kids and that sort of thing. And I don't want the stress and pressure of going back to work. Like, how many people do we know that are pressured to go back to work? They're trying to be at work. They're at work thinking about their kids. They're with their kids thinking about work, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just a complete negative cycle. And then we've got all the postnatal depression and all that sort of thing. So that's a big one for me, and that's something I've been thinking about lately, because like we all have our days where the day gets away and we don't do what we say we're going to do. So it's important to have your goals and reasons written down, so you can completely go back to that and reset and remind yourself, because you don't feel like going to work every day, and that's fine. And when you work for a boss, you have to go because you got to answer to someone. So you have to be your own boss and be that person you have to answer to and question yourself. So even like with the John Kehoe course that Jared has put up, he talks about how radical change requires radical discipline. So in order to get more, you need to give more and you need to become more. And the good thing is it's a choice. It's a choice to become more. You just have to decide and make that decision of what you want and become who you need to be in order to get that. So it's both a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a choice, but also a lot of people tend to take the easy choice, which is being negative and having excuses and that sort of thing, which just leaves you where you are whilst everyone else improves their lifestyle. So that sort of just comes into PD being the real importance of this business of generating royalties. Like, if we want a royalty income, we've got to be able to be leaders, and we've got to be able to teach people what we do, and to be a leader, you need to do personal development no matter where you're at. Like you can always become a better version of yourself. Even like the most successful billionaires in whatever area it is, they all do personal development. So that's pretty much it. Like it's kind of short and sweet, but with the personal development, like John Kehoe also talks about how our inner and outer worlds are connected. So whatever you're feeding subconsciously is going to come out in your outer world. So just think about that, because I know some people are like, oh, PD, like I don't need that, I'm happy and that sort of thing. But it's not necessarily about being happy, it's about becoming a better person. And there's so many different character traits. Nobody is at optimum level with all of those traits. So yeah, just think about that. You've got to change your thinking, or your reality won't change. So that's you thinking about yourself, business, and all that sort of thing. Jared, you can spend time with my kids. No, just trying to offload my kids until they are of drinking age. No, that's when I want them. Take them on the town. So yeah, does anyone have any questions, particularly around, like, I know Jared usually runs World 2 Workshop and he now does Herbalife full time, but he didn't always do that. So it's easy to say, oh, it's easy for you to have your 10 conversations a day, Jared, but Jared wasn't allowed to go full time until he was earning over 10 grand a month, 3 months in a row, wasn't it? That was the terms.
Yeah, over 10.
Yeah, over 10 grand. So how did he get there around running a business? It was priority and his reason being bigger than himself.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, though, Cole, as well, being full-time in Herbalife, because you kind of have to employ yourself to go places and be in front of people. Like when I was working, I actually found it easier because you're building relationships anyway. You're doing all these things that you're kind of forced into a place with people you don't know, and I found it easier to network. And now I'm looking at my calendar going, okay, well, how do I get into different circles now? Like join keys or what, what's going to be time effective, what can I actually do with the travel that I do, and etc. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. And I guess that's something that comes in with like working full-time and talking to 10 is when you work full-time, generally you're having interactions with people, whether it's in a lunchroom or like with other staff members and that sort of thing. Like I've actually had a few parents order off me just by having my Glow Lean on my table. And they say, oh, what's that? And I say, oh, this is stuff I use. I lost 5 kilos. Do you want to see my before and after picture? Or like, this helps me to keep up with your kids each day.
So do you think it's like with the talking to 10, Cole, do you think it's just like keeping it front of mind, or what do you just feel like it's just like, oh, well, this is just my Herbalife job today, so I just have to do it? Like it's a non.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I find like, particularly when I'm keeping gauges, it's like you want to fill in that table and fill in that column of new conversations happening. So like hold yourself accountable, keep gauges. And yeah, when it's at front of mind, you just generate so many more conversations. And when you're doing that personal development, the no's just become a step closer to a yes. It doesn't hit you as hard, and it's like you're in that frame of mind where we have the solution, that the people need us, we don't need the people. Meg said, how many of your daily 10 are online versus offline, do you think? If I'm flat out at work, like most of them are online, and I try to do as much face to face as possible because like I think it's good that like you're interacting and the person can see you and know you and that sort of thing. And then I just fill the gaps. So some days I might talk to 5 people face to face. Some days I might talk to 0 face to face, and the rest are online. But we're so lucky to have that online where we can fill the gaps. Like if you looked at your was what I did. I looked at how much time I was already spending on social media doing nothing, just scrolling. It's like, it's not that you don't have time, it's that you're just scrolling and you're not using your time well. So we're all using social media, we're all sitting there on our phones or looking at the TV and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's just about using it in a positive way. Yeah, so I think it's good, like Jared just said, online versus face to face versus memory jogger. So the memory jogger is really good because it keeps you focused on creating new conversations, and rather than scrolling through and then you start getting lost in looking at other people's lives, as in like their life, not live videos. Now I've lost where I was up to. Yeah, so scrolling through, you're focused on generating those new conversations. But those online, you can bring to face chats as well. So that was all my 3 new members that I got in that 2 weeks on the school holidays. They were through my memory jogger online conversations to offline face to face. Sorry, 2 of them were that. Another one was an old person from school I saw in the supermarket, and I said, "Oh, what are you up to? Blah blah blah." And he said, "Oh, just working. My partner's gonna have a baby in a couple of months, and blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, that's great, blah blah." And then when I got home, because he was working, and I just sent him a message and said, "Good to see you today, blah blah blah. What's your partner doing for work at the moment?" And he said nothing, and then just offered them the opportunity, and then we brought it back to face. So that was a face-to-face interaction to online, showing them the HOM video, back to face. So it's just about going with the how, like, all different conversations flow differently depending on the person's personality and your frame of mind at the time. Oh, and Meg said, "Do you do it all when you get home after work or in your lunch break?" I try to do like a little bit at recess, a little bit at lunch, and then finish it off after work. But sometimes I work all through my lunch break. Like I don't like when I'm at school teaching. Like sometimes I have meetings or trying to sort out girls being bitches. But there's often like something that interrupts your lunch hour and you're flat out trying to get your lunch in. So lucky I have shakes. But yeah, so it just depends day to day. It's hard for me sometimes to have a set routine, and I could use that as an excuse, but I use it as a reason to make sure I get it done, because I just think how good would it be in 12 months to be able to just, because I love teaching still, but it'd be so good to just teach part-time and have the interactions with kids and still be able to empower kids, but also be able to empower as many people as I want to, and get paid as a reflection of my work ethic. Because I know as a teacher I work way harder than a lot of my colleagues and do a lot more hours, and I get paid less purely because I'm younger. Did that answer your question, Meg? Kind of rambled on. Does anyone else have any questions? Dale's just tapped in. I was just talking about how I get my 10 conversations a day around my full-time teaching. If you got any questions.
Did you record it?
Yes, Jared did.
Thanks, Jared. Don't lie to me. Hotbox yoga was amazing, by the way.
Oh, that's good. Sorry, Matt. It was Matt's question, not Meg's. Good question, Matt. Shit question, Meg. Hope that answered your question, Matt. So you think at the end of the day, you just need to want it and remove the excuses. Yeah. Yeah, and turn your excuses into your reasons. So my excuses are, I've got full-time work, I'm so busy, blah, 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 blah. Family problems and all different stuff. Like, we all have problems. We all have different relationship challenges and that sort of thing. So yeah, they can be excuses or they can be reasons to drive you. Royalties create time freedom. Yeah, exactly. So that's my reason to do it. Because I know if I put in the time now, like particularly for me, I'm 24, like if I do this for the next 5 years and give it a good crack, I'll get to go to a lot of massages. Jared, chairman's by 30. Ooh, it's a good one. Oh, so Cole versus Cole. Yes, me versus me. And so easy to compare yourself to others. Like, it's just like it's like a human nature thing. It's like, oh well, at least I'm not a drug addict. Like, I'm just addicted to alcohol. But it's like you can keep comparing yourself to people who are lower, or you can compare yourself to yourself and just be a better version of yourself each day. So, what do you want to be and become that person? So if you haven't already done the John Kehoe Mind Power course, I just finished it and it's definitely worth doing. It's about 6 or 8 hours of content, but you just do it across the 6 weeks, so an hour a week. That's like, I don't even know, less than 1% of your time per week. So yeah, definitely worth doing. Jared, how important do you think it is trusting the process, especially the education process? Yeah, very important. I think like the marketing plan is there for a reason. And like I think we get so much education like with our map list and the member trainings and royalty workshop and that sort of thing. But then it's good to educate ourselves as well, like the Mind Powers course. That's an extra thing that we choose to do on top of that, like to further improve ourselves. So it's like going that extra mile to get the extra mile. And I think you can always learn more stuff. Like, it doesn't matter what field you're in, like even with teaching, the best teachers who have experience are those who are willing to learn. Like, there's plenty of teachers with heaps of experience, but they're shit at it because they're not willing to learn. Excuse the language. Yeah, so I think it's the same in any job. Yeah, but I think Herbalife is definitely like Mark Hughes' whole philosophy is around like fairness, because like his well, obviously the product is, he wanted a safe product to be able to, for people to be able to lose weight, but also the marketing plan, like he chose network marketing not only because he wanted people actually consuming it, not just buying it. Like from the supermarket, you buy it and you put it in the cupboard and you never use it again. But he wanted, like his mum was driven to that because she was trying to work full time and generate an income around raising all her kids on her own. So he wanted to create a marketing plan that could help people earn income in a much more sustainable way, I guess, and create better opportunity for families and individuals. So I think we can trust him. And again, that's probably where PD comes in really important, because people try to say it doesn't work, blah, 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 but that's a reflection on them. So it works if we work. It's the same as the programs work if we work the programs, like in terms of our health goals and that sort of thing. Okay, no other questions. Amazing. Thank you. Alrighty. That's pretty much it from me. If you got any questions, I think Jared will chuck the recording in Royalty Workshop, so you can just pop it in there, pop the questions in there. Matt/Meg said good work. Thanks, Matt/Meg. All right. Did you stop recording, Jared?